Good readings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today's video is sponsored by Earthbreeze. Earthbreeze are the makers of eco-friendly laundry sheets that eliminate single-use plastics and are free of harsh chemicals. I love to keep things simple in my house, and that includes my detergent as well. I love that Earthbreeze is free of harsh chemicals, including optical brighteners, dyes, parabens, phosphates, and preservatives. I recently learned that optical brighteners just make your clothes look brighter without actually making them cleaner. You can actually see the optical brighteners under UV light and how they stick to your clothes. And as someone with sensitive skin, I love the idea of not having unnecessary chemical exposure. Not only are they effective, but they're really easy to use. You place a laundry sheet into the drum of your washer and it will dissolve readily in cold or warm water. So if you want a powerful clean without harsh chemicals, try Earthbreeze. Right now you can try Earthbreeze for up to 40% off plus 4 free gifts. You can click the link down below or scan the QR code above. Big thanks to Earthbreeze for sponsoring this video and for allowing me to make better videos for all of you. Alright, my lovelies, today I'm going to be tasting a panoply of items that I found at my local Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's. If you're not familiar with it, it is a chain of stores that offer very interesting items, often limited edition items at very reasonable prices and good quality. But I love going because each time I go, I always find something new, including the last time. And they're often very intriguing or interesting, but the problem with that, sometimes when you want to go back for the item, it no longer exists or you can't find it. So when you do see it, I tend to grab it. Trader Joe's is like a supermarket. It offers lots of fresh items like produce and dairy and meat items, but I feel where they really shine are in their frozen food and snack aisles. There's always something new and very interesting. So most of the things I picked up today came from the frozen food aisles. I always like to keep a few things in the freezer. In fact, their Indian frozen dinners are a family favorite. I always stash a few of those for those days where I am pressed for time and need something good on the table. On that note, let's go ahead and start with this. These are Panzerotti pizza bites filled with mozzarella cheese blend and Italian tomato sauce. They sound like a fancy version of Totino's pizza rolls, which my brother and I loved as latchkey kids. My mom would have a few boxes of those in the freezer, so when we came home from school, we could heat them up in the microwave, or our preferred option was a toaster oven. These look like a fancier version. The shape is a little bit different than a Totino's pizza roll. They look like they're kind of fluted, and you can heat them either in the air fryer, oven, or the microwave. I think I'm going to opt for the air fryer because I like them crispy.
That's not what I expected them to look like. Look, they're actually bigger. Oh wow, they're really big. And there's quite a bunch of them. Wow, $3.99? That's pretty reasonable. So we have a dozen of these for $3.99. I feel like that's very reasonable. And it doesn't look quite like what that looks like on the package. Maybe after they fry up, they'll be more like what's shown on the package. I'm just gonna do a few because I've got a lot of things to taste. So I'm gonna do 4.
So in go our pizza pockets for 9 minutes. So while the little pizza pockets are heating up, let's go ahead and taste these. These are Trader Joe's tiniest chocolate chip cookies. These were $3.99 for 8 ounces. 8-ounce bag. So what really sold these to me was the little handwritten sign, which I love about Trader Joe's, that their signs are still written by hand. But the fact that these cookies are smaller than a dime, right? And they don't give you a little window so you can't see them, so you're imagining a dime. Okay, that's a really tiny cookie. I can imagine a tiny cookie, but are they gonna taste good? The next thing I thought of was Cookie Crisp cereal, which I don't even know if they make anymore, but I remember being obsessed about trying them and begging my dad to bring home a box of Cookie Crisp cereal and then eating it and being disappointed by it. So I hope that these do not disappoint like that cereal did. That cereal was just really, really airy and is somewhat chocolatey, but not cookie-like at all. But they had great commercials, and mini anything is just really, really appealing. So let's see Trader Joe's tiniest chocolate chip cookies. Let's see. Oh, they smell like those tins of Danish cookies, butter cookies. That's what they smell like. They smell pretty good. Kind of processed. You know what I mean? Look. They're itty bitty. They remind me a little bit of these little egg cookies that I used to give my kids when they were teething. You could buy them at the Chinese market and they just dissolve in your mouth. I think they're made with tapioca, but look at these. They look like little buttons. They are so cute. And do I have a dime? No, wait, do I have a dime in here? Oh, I have a nickel. They're definitely smaller than a nickel and definitely smaller than a dime. Really tiny. Let me show you them up close. Look how tiny they are. They're pretty tall for how small they are. Alrighty, so my next question is, if these are tinier than a dime, then the chocolate chips inside them must be just a little tiny speck. Are they gonna taste like chocolate chip cookies? I don't know, let's give them a taste. Alright, here we go. Itadakimasu. They taste like store-bought cookies. Quite crunchy. Oh, that one was pretty chocolatey. First one, less so. More of a vanilla kind of cookie. They're nothing spectacular. They taste like mini Chips Ahoy cookies. If you had one of those, tastes a lot like that. Vanilla flavor, crunchy texture. I do like the thickness of them. So you get a substantial crunch. But bite size, it's novel to be able to eat little tiny bits of them. With milk though, I think that might be fun to eat a bowl of them. I read on their website that one serving is 65 of these little cookies. So you could have 65 cookies in a serving, which is a third of a cup. Super adorable and novel, but I probably wouldn't buy them again. So just one more minute on the timer for our pizza bites, but let's check these out so we can swap them when we take the pizza bites out. And these are Trader Joe's Carnival Fun Cake Fries. Look at that. And these were $4.95 for 12 ounces. So you can find funnel cake at state fairs, carnivals, and it's basically a soft dough that is extruded into hot oil, and then you get basically a donut. It's made in kind of a nest. I have a recipe and I'll put a link to it down below in case you're curious or want to make it at home. It's often dusted with lots of powdered sugar or had plain, or sometimes topped with strawberries or fresh fruit. But funnel cake is delicious, and I'm curious to see what the Trader Joe's version is going to taste like. These are also fries. They're a little bit different. So they immediately smell like donuts, vanilla and fried, but they look like French fries. So let's dump some in here. Don't they look like fries? They're a little bit different. They're more rounded and very, very perfect. So $3.25 for 6 minutes. Alrighty, while we're waiting, let's taste our pizza bites. This is what they look like after they've been air fried. A little bit different than what is shown on the package, in my opinion. They don't look quite as fluted, and they definitely look stodgy, you know, kind of bready. But let's see what they look like inside. Whoa. Ooh, hot. And yes, definitely thicker than the crust of a Totino's pizza roll. Right? Really bready. Let's give it a taste. Here we go. Itadakimasu. Hot. And as expected, based on what we saw, it is breadier than a Totino's pizza roll. The interior is quite similar. Molten hot, flavored with Italian seasoning. So you get some basil and oregano, and some molten cheese and sauce. But I feel like the ratio of filling to bread is a little bit off. I want more filling. Hot. Having said that, they're pretty tasty. Just a little bit too heavy on the crust for me. For the next air fryer swap, let's try these. And these are Trader Joe's Bubble Waffles. Now these were huge about 10 years ago, and apparently they're much older than that. I didn't realize they've been around for a long time, since the 1950s. You can find these in Hong Kong and all over Asia. It's a popular street food, and they are bubble waffles also known as egg waffles. They go by a lot of names, and street vendors will make these right in front of you, and they'll be served sometimes with fruit or whipped cream, sometimes ice cream, but they're absolutely adorable. Oh, look, it says this is the actual size. How cute is that? $1 goes for $4.99, and you get 4 bubble waffles, and this is the size. Love. I actually did a video of this many moons ago, and I showed how to make one at home using a cake pop waffle iron. Super fun. But now you can just buy them at Trader Joe's. And these are vegan, so once my funnel fries come out, we're gonna swap them with these bubble fries. Cute packaging too, right? Ooh. Yes, funnel fries are ready. The bubble waffles are wrapped like this, and that's what it looks like. Cute, right? Oh, the bubbles are flat on this side, which is a little disappointing, but perky on this side. Okay, 3 to 5 minutes. Let's taste our funnel cake fries. Here we go. A little bit more brown than I thought they'd be. Oh, they actually kind of crisp up after they kind of dried out. Alrighty, let's give them a taste. Itadakimasu. The texture is really odd. Wow. I'm surprised by that. They're really chewy. I was expecting more of a donut-y experience, you know, but they're really chewy. A little bit oily, which I expect because funnel cake is fried in oil. I'm expecting it to be oily, but noticeably oily and a very strange texture. It takes effort to eat them. They are pleasantly sweet. I was mourning the fact that I didn't have any powdered sugar with me, but in my opinion, it doesn't need any powdered sugar. They're plenty sweet, and they taste like a donut. They smell like a donut shop, but I don't love the texture. Strange. I feel very conflicted about this. They don't taste bad. Just not what I expected. I don't think I'd buy those again. Alrighty, here is my bubble waffle. Let's get the bubble waffle out. Looks great. Doesn't look all that different than when it went in. Maybe a little more golden. I'm going to taste it just as it is. Very hot. Super cute. So if we tear it, oh, it's kind of stretchy. Alrighty, let's give it a taste. Itadakimasu. That's an interesting contrast to the funnel fries that I just had. This texture is pleasant. I like it. These are chewy, but in a much stretchier kind of way and much more pleasant. The other ones are almost tough to eat. These are very playful. They're chewy, but tender chewy, and they're stretchy. See that? Look, there's a stretchiness to them. I like mochi. There's also a really nice crispness on the edges, on these parts right here in between the bubbles. So it's a really nice contrast of crispiness and chewiness. I like those. Lightly sweetened. And they taste a little bit coconutty. I don't think this needs any additional things in terms of syrup or any kind of other, maybe a little bit of whipped cream if you want to make this into some kind of a dessert, like a dessert cone. Maybe a little bit of whipped cream and some chopped strawberries or some kind of fruit. That might elevate this to another kind of dessert level. But if you're just having this for breakfast, I think it's great just as it is. I would buy these again. They're good. Now let's taste these. These are chocolate cheesecake bites. I'm not sure if these are new, but they are new to me. These were in the frozen food section in the dessert aisle, and they are exactly what they say they are. Chocolate cheesecake bites. And they are already prepared. All you have to do is let them sit at room temperature for 2 hours or in your refrigerator so they can thaw. And this is what they look like. Look, it looks like The densest, most beautiful brownie. Okay. These chocolate cheesecake bites were $4.99 for 12 bites. Now, before even tasting these, I love the fact that these are little tiny portions. So stinking cute. Perfect for me. Look at that. That's adorable. Looks like it's half cheesecake, half crust. Actually, there's more cheesecake than crust. And there looks to be little chocolate chips in there too. Alrighty, let's give that a taste. See, it's just so tiny. Alrighty, mini chocolate cheesecake. Here we go. Pretty sweet. The crust tastes like an Oreo crust, and it's definitely significant. It's thicker than what I would imagine a typical crust, graham crust, being on a cheesecake. Again, I think the ratio would be like 2 parts cheesecake to 1 part crust, so quite a bit of crust. Cheesecake is very chocolatey and tastes more like frosting to me. I think there's too much crust in my opinion relative to the cheesecake. And let's just have the cheesecake part by itself. It's good. It's not too sweet and dense. Has the texture of a New York style cheesecake, but it's so chocolatey. I don't taste any of the cream cheese, which is what makes it a cheesecake, right? When it comes to cheesecake, I tend to like my cheesecake just cheese, not chocolate. So just having it like this doesn't seem cheesecakey to me. It just seems like buttercream frosting, though less sweet than buttercream frosting, which I appreciate, and of course not buttery. Having said that, it's pretty good. I probably wouldn't get this again, but it's, I think, because I would rather have just cheesecake bites rather than it be chocolate cheesecake. You know what I mean? Alrighty, lovelies, I'm quite excited about this one. This one's Trader Joe's Italian Tiramisu. This is also found in the frozen section. This is $5.49. You get 2 desserts. If you're not familiar with tiramisu, it's a wonderful layered dessert that has ladyfinger cookies and mascarpone cheese that's lightly sweetened and a bit of espresso coffee. Is just so delicious. The ladyfinger biscuits absorb the mascarpone cheese and the coffee, and it's just such a lovely, lovely dessert. And now you can buy it frozen at Trader Joe's. But you do have to do a little bit of work. You have to let this thaw in your refrigerator for about 8 hours. And this is what it looks like. It's quite dark. If you want it sliced, it says you can slice it frozen and then let it thaw in your refrigerater. But look at that mini version. I know. I'm not sure if it's dusted with cocoa powder or espresso powder, but let's dig into it. Look at that. Oh boy. Alrighty, let's give it a taste. Itadakimasu. Pretty good. The ladyfingers are soaked in the coffee, so you have a bitterness from the coffee. But on top of that, you've got this whipped topping of mascarpone cheese that's sweetened and kind of custardy. Pretty good. I have had better tiramisus. The ladyfingers in this are a bit spongy, although there's a great coffee flavor to it. In terms of level of sweetness and flavor, good. It's the textures I feel that are a little bit off, but still pretty stinking delicious. Alrighty, my loves, there you have it. Thanks so much for watching, and big thanks to Earth Breeze for sponsoring this video. Right now you can try Earth Breeze for up to 40% off plus 4 free gifts. You can click the link down below or scan the QR code above. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! I was supposed to eat lunch, but I think I'm all set. All right.